to tea time. My name is JaKaTaK. And it is very much the morning. It is legit, 100%, it's the morning. And that is why the voice does this thing. For any of you who sing in choirs and are basses, and even some of you who don't, in general, the voice will be much lower in the very morningiest of the morning. Actually, I haven't looked at the time yet. The time is 9:42. I thought I had woken up nice and early, but I did not. The clouds covered the sky, and the sun was not as usually as waking as it was before. May or may not have got caught up reading and playing Hearthstone last night. Oh, hashtag passion lost, right? Right? Am I right? No. I drink burdock tea every day. It's one of the attempts to get the face acne situation under control. One of many for years that have all been unsuccessful. So far, this one's not bad. It's not terrible. But I'm thinking consistency and nutrition is the key. We'll find out. In any case, I hadn't had one yet, and I do drink valerian before I go to bed. So I had 2 teas to drink. So I was like, I'm gonna drink 2 teas. And it was the end of the day, and I was exhausted. And I was like, just play a couple of games of Passion Stone. But in any case, yesterday, I painted. I'm not going to show it yet. I'm going to talk about it first. I'm going to show it next. I painted. I'm not a painter. I'm not really a visual artist. When I was 12, I don't know if I already mentioned this in a video. When I was about 12, 10 or 12, somewhere around that area, a friend, Kyle, and I, well, Kyle basically taught me how to draw via Chris Metzen. We just took the Warcraft 2 book that tells you how to play the game, and it tells you a bunch of other stuff. I actually never read the words. We just went through all the illustrations and put it down and looked at them, and we tried to draw it as best we could. And that's how I learned to draw. That's where I learned my drawing basics from. I also learned it from art class in school, but I mean, that was really when I was doing art on my own and not whatever the assignment was in art class, whatever it was. That was really when I was like, oh, cool, I like to draw, this is neat. It was for a while in high school where I was sort of both. I had the art thing going and I had the music thing going. I had great both art and music teachers, just a phenomenal educational people for elementary school. They were just great, got everybody into it, and everyone was excited about art and music in my school. And in general, they went to a lot of different schools. So in general, in the public school system, and Woonsocket around the time that I was going through was just really awesome, really just phenomenal teachers, and middle school as well Woonsocket had a reputation for having very good music for the time that I was in there. I don't know if it still has that reputation, but in any case, I had to choose between art and music. Not really, I could have done that, but I was also in these really accelerated classes that were super time consuming and had a lot of homework and were very challenging for me, which was great because before then I was not really being challenged very much. But yeah, so I had to choose, and I chose the way of music, and I actually went to school for music, went on tour with a band, and I just I really chose music. I went for it all the way, because I decided, for one reason or another, I don't know if someone told me, but I decided for one reason or another that I couldn't do both. I didn't have enough time to do both and hang out with my friends and play video games and play sports and things like that. And that was important to me. That was my free time that I was allowed to do whatever I wanted with was really important to me. I never wanted to be stuck in this sort of I have to do all of these things, and none of the time is really my own. It's all scheduled out for me. I have this practice, then that practice, then I have to spend this time doing homework, and then I do that. I was constantly trying to avoid that as a kid. like as very young, I was very like, I want my free time. It's important to me. I was like, what the fuck? Just sure, man. You're fucking 8. You have tons of free time. You don't even know. But seriously, I think we're never even going to talk about the art. All right, we are. What are we looking at? We are. Okay. So in any case, it was cool. I had never really painted before. I'd drawn a little bit, you know, and I've used colored pencils before. And I'm sure I used paint in elementary school. I never really got to use paint very much in art class when I was in high school, and sort of had an idea of what I was doing. Didn't really use paint at all, and definitely never on a canvas. I never touched paint to canvas in my life before yesterday. So it was a cool new experience, and a friend of mine had paints, and she's not this like, you know, professional painter who does painting all the time. It's just something that she does for herself, that she enjoys experimenting with, and learning different techniques and doing things like that, and the stuff is pretty cool. And it's not like, you know, fancy direct stuff. It was more the stuff that she does and her friend is more like abstract stuff. So I was like, oh, cool, that's neat. And I felt very comfortable with that, because it was sort of like, okay, well, it doesn't have to end up looking like anything at all at the end. I can just try to let go of all sort of everything and just paint and see what happens, you know? And that's what I did, and it was really cool. For those of you who haven't painted, I strongly suggest it. Like, just go pick up a canvas. They're like, just pick up a small canvas. They're like, you know, $5 or something. They're super cheap. Grab a couple of colors you like, and get a piece of cardboard, put wax paper on it. Like, you don't need this fancy shit. This is what we did. It was awesome. I was like, this is the best. You know, put the paints on the wax paper. Get a cheap brush set, you know, with a couple of different options, so you can try different tools, and mix them up. Mix up some of the paints, make different colors, draw, you know, paint, etc. Put some music on. That's what we did. We just painted, and it was completely process focused. It was like, and I don't know. I'm not saying this about painting. I'm not saying that painting is a completely process focused thing, but for me, in that moment, for that, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, time passed by, and I don't know how much time it was. I don't know when we started. We finished around 6 because we wanted to watch Walking Dead. But, like, it was completely process focused for me. Like, all I was caring about was, like, the moment of painting, and just, like, I'm going to draw a line now. I'm going to try and draw a line with a clean edge. I don't know what it's going to make. I don't know what's going to happen to it. And it's like, you know what? I don't like the way that looks. I'm going to try and pull the paint out to the sides, you know? I'm going to try that. I want to see what it looks like. It's like, oh, I like that better. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to, you know, and that was it. It was pure, like, I'm going to draw a circle, you know, see what that looks like. I was like, I'm going to draw another line, but this way instead of this way. I was like, I'm going to choose a different color. And that's the whole thing. At the end, it was like, oh, you know, I kind of like it. I'm keeping it. Like, I'm not a really big keeper of things. I'm keeping it just because it's the first time I've ever painted on canvas and had that sort of super process focused experience where I don't really care what's going to happen at the end of it all. And that's kind of a theme that comes up a lot in StarCraft. The idea of, you know, improvement, and just there is not a high level player or a low level player, as Nero says. There's only the path. There's only the path that you're on, and you're on it, and that's great, and you're moving along it. There's no like, oh, you are X or you are Y. You know, that from Art of Learning, that entity learning, not entity intelligence. Entity theory, whatever it is. It's basically, I'm dumb at math, you know, or I'm good at this, I'm bad at this. You know, you are on a path and you are moving. That's called like the learning theory versus the entity theory, I think. Don't quote me on it. I'm an ideas guy. I'm about the ideas. If the terms aren't exactly right, you get the idea, which I think is the important thing to me. But in any case, this is what happened. This is what happened. You know, is it absolutely terrible? No, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. And this is just me. This is just like hours of time of my life where I was just not caring about much of anything. It was like a really zen moment, zen time period. It was like meditation. It was awesome. But yeah, in StarCraft, it's sort of like people get hung up on I'm bronze or I'm diamond or all games. Let's branch this out, right? Let's not just talk about StarCraft, it's all games, all things of learning. They just get stuck in I am X or I am X now. I am at X point. But it's not really about the point. It's about, enjoying that, like, oh man, I really want to hit my macro this game. It's like, I'm going to just try to be the best at macro. I'm going to try to do better at macro than I did yesterday. I'm really going to focus. I'm going to keep checking my production facilities and like make a new unit as soon as the one that's on the queue is about to finish, or I'm going to be really efficient with my larva. I'm going to get my injects down. I'm going to keep my larva low unless, I'm doing it for a strategic reason. Early game, I'm going to keep it really low. I'm going to keep that natural larva production from the hatchery going, and you have this sort of thing, and you try to do it, and you succeed or you fail, but the point is you're doing it. That's what you're doing at that particular moment in time. And it's really enjoyable. It's a really enjoyable process, and it takes away all this pressure of needing to perform or needing to get a result, a particular result at the end of X, And it's really nice. So, whether it be painting or StarCraft or League of Legends or Go or math, whatever it might be, try. I think it would be cool. You should maybe give this a shot. Spend some time doing something where you don't care what happens at the end. Anything. Spend some time doing that. And let me know how it works out for you. Let me know, at the end, I got this painting thing. It's not really much a painting of anything. You could call it, whatever you want. You could say, oh, it looks like X or Y, and different people will interpret it differently, but it's just this sort of thing that happened. It's kind of a reminder of, like, for me, to focus on the process and how enjoyable that can be. And how it's very easy, especially in the culture that I live in. I don't know about your culture, but the culture that I live in is very results focused and very end focused and not process focused. It's a reminder to me to maybe balance that out a little bit more, and maybe you will enjoy doing that too. So that's it for tea time. I will be working on bronze science today, and hopefully I will finish it, and we'll release it tomorrow. I don't think I'll finish it in the next 2 hours. Bronze science is not that kind of a thing. Who knows? Maybe I'll get some like crazy like inspirational hit. I'll just be like, these are all the jokes. This is what's gonna, it's gonna be perfect. And then I go online to get all like the visuals, and they just like instantly pop up, and all my ideas are right. Everything I search in Google and everything I have in like my data banks of like funny pictures that I like are just there. But it's probably not gonna happen. Bronze science is absolutely the longest video making time for sure, but it has the best results view wise, so I'm okay with spending that extra time to make do funnies. That is all. See ya.